Well, good morning, everybody. I thought I'd take this opportunity to do a quick video. It's a little overdue with what's been happening here. It's kind of appropriate, the gloomy skies, and synonymous with the outlook of the Alberta situation, I believe. I'm back in my old neighborhood. A little bit of nostalgia. I grew up just a few blocks from here, and was looking at the changing skyline, reminiscing about a time when things were simpler, people were honest, and we seem to have lost that. I want to address the point of the Western Independence Party of Alberta. We've had many people ask. I'm going to clarify now what has happened, where we are, and where I see us going. First of all, understand that this movement was created by a few of us that were just unhappy with what was happening with the election results, the May election, the October election. And a few of us got together, put together a group. We closed that night. We had, I believe, just over 100 people, and we expanded that into a conglomeration of groups that probably totaled somewhere between 30 and 45,000. It's really hard to put an accurate figure on there. Our first drive for signatures failed. Keep in mind, none of us were, are, or have been politicians. Everything was a learning experience. Our second drive, we had learned something. Sorry about the shaky video. I'm trying to hold this up in the wind. Our second drive, we'd learned quite a bit more. We were more organized and really started off on a good foot. Our event committee I'd put together with some people who seemed to express an interest in getting this movement to signature stage, and therefore registering the party. Our first real drive, I believe we took in, I can't recall accurately, but let's just call it close to 1,000 signatures in one drive. We had a few other drives that weren't as big as that, but we were certainly moving in the right direction. What happened during this time was I had to return back to Colombia to have my visa attached to my new passport that I got in Canada. While I was gone, some people decided in the event committee to run things a little differently. I was strictly opposed. We had built this movement from next to nothing, well, from nothing, from an idea to, as I just mentioned, tens of thousands of followers. And I told them no. I said, once we register the party, we will have our general meeting, and all ideas and everything can be voted on democratically and openly. Well, that wasn't good enough for some of them, and they undermined the efforts. And consequently, what happened was last October, this small group decided that, well, they were just going to scuttle the efforts, and some of you may recall they posted a message saying they were the official group and suspending the signature drive, which caused all sorts of confusion. That group then went over to help form another group, and essentially what happened was the same thing. The same group of people scuttled that drive. So what you had was a group of people that were undermining the efforts of the wishes of many of us to create a separation party. And consequently now, they've formed a party, and I'll speak more on that in just a minute. But our situation is dire these days. We have, our political climate is changing daily. I've been trying to do a video for probably 2 or 3 weeks now, and every time something new comes up, we've had the federal fiasco, if I call it that, just a few days ago. A few hours ago, it was announced that the NAFTA agreement's been created between U.S. and Mexico, and Canada's sitting on the sidelines. We have lost, under the Liberal leadership, we have lost last year's figures over $100 million in investment. Probably never to come back to Alberta until some major changes take place. We saw Kinder Morgan bought out by the federal government. The reason they were bought out is because they couldn't come up with a buyer within the ambiguous time of roughly 2 months. So essentially, the federal government couldn't produce a buyer that they were going to backstop on the project. What that means is nobody wants to invest in Canada these days, and especially in the oil industry, with the regulations, the carbon tax, and economic killing policies. It's not rosy for Alberta. Now, with the WIPA movement, it isn't dead. There is a very viable alternative I'm kind of excited to talk about, and I'll mention it in just a minute. We need to start by cleaning our own house. We have right now in Alberta several parties that we can look to. I'll say this in jest. There's the NDP, there's the Liberal Party. There's a few other fringe parties, let's call it. There's a new party that's come out. Tough to talk about this party because this is formed by the group that undermined the separation efforts with two other groups and took on a leader that many people don't have many nice things to say about. Personally, I'm okay with them. But the party itself was built on a foundation of lies and deceit. Certainly not one I could support. The UCP masters at saying what they'll do, but not how they'll do it. And just one example I'll give you. Their big talking point right now is carbon tax. Well, carbon tax we know so many people want to get rid of. They say they'll repeal it. They don't say how. And they don't say what will happen if it doesn't happen. Now, if people are interested, you can check, I believe, Section 52 of the Constitution Act, where it clearly states that taxes are the responsibility of the House of Commons and the elected members. So essentially, it's a federal charter, not a provincial one. The same goes for the equalization payments. That's our income tax. That's not Alberta writing a check every year. That is your income tax. So for somebody to come in and say they're going to amend that or they want to do something with it, they're really saying that they want to rewrite the federal income tax. So I don't know how a provincial government can do that. It's a shame, but many people are just caught up in that and follow blindly. So what's our alternative? Well, I've been talking at length for some time now, and I wanted to get some clear answers and some clear direction from a party that's in the process of being registered. Their signatures are in with the Elections Alberta right now, and they hope to hear something as early as September, which is really just a few days away. The Alberta Advantage Party. They have a lot of policies that were similar to ours, but what excites me most is the fact that they have in their policy a referendum. If enough people support a referendum will be called. What that means essentially for us is the same thing as what we were trying to do all along, was form a party and bring people together for a referendum. The policies in the Alberta Advantage Party are very similar to ours. They're a little bit more organized. Like I say, none of us were politicians. None of us had that experience. Many of these people are former politicians. They do have experience, but more than that, they're more grassroots. And I would invite people to take a look at their platform They're very, very approachable. They're very honest. I've enjoyed talking with them, and I'm looking forward to supporting them. I believe that they are, now this is just me talking and I could be wrong, but they are really on the fence with Alberta autonomy. If we can't get an agreement with Ottawa, they're prepared, so they say, and I'm just paraphrasing here, but they're prepared to cut the ties, to take this to a referendum. And it's the only way. If we do not separate ourselves from Ottawa, we in Alberta are never going to see those sunny skies again. I say as the sun's starting to break through the clouds. But I just don't see how. We can't give a deal away. The federal government can't. Nobody is going to move their billions of dollars back into an uncertain climate. The last thing I'll just touch off very briefly is with respect to the common rebuttal I hear so many times is, well, we can use the notwithstanding clause. I would invite people to read that. You'll find that the notwithstanding clause is a band-aid only that has to continuously be renewed. So again, if you're looking to form a policy or not form a policy, but get an economic climate to work under, and you have to keep relying on governments to pass or accept the notwithstanding clause, it's uncertain. Nobody's going to bring billions of dollars back into Alberta until we have a stable, economic, friendly government. And I say this with certainty, that does not include the federal government. Anyway, I was hoping to keep this video short. I was hoping to keep my eyes open. It's tough squinting in the sun, but anyway, I would invite anybody's questions and we'll try and answer them as timely as possible. And I'm sorry for the shaky video. Sound might be a problem too with this wind, but it's cold out here, and I'm looking forward to getting something warm inside me. So thank you again, everybody, and I'll look forward to your comments.